Hey guys, welcome to The Sophisticated Scoundrel. Today's episode is going to be about why the masculine needs to be the leader regardless of the type of relationship that it is. Before we get into the topic, please be sure to download the first chapter of my book, The Masculine Code. And in the first chapter, it's all about how to hold masculine frame, which is great for any man out there before he either gets into a relationship or is currently in a relationship. And you can also use this with friends, family, and even at work. So grab that down in the link below and pin in the first comment in the comment section. Okay, so as I said, today's topic is going to be about how masculinity is necessary. The fundamental principles of masculinity are necessary in order to be the leader in a relationship. And, in any relationship, and I'm mainly talking about romantic relationships, the man needs to be the leader. And this is a subject that so many people get very touchy about. They hate when I specify that a man needs to be a leader. And I get a lot of pushback from both guys and girls. And they say that, well, why do you need a leader at all? Why can't you just be equal? Well, because in a relationship, there needs to be one head. Like if you have a family, a household, or if it's just the two of you, somebody needs to drive the relationship forward. You can't have two cooks in the kitchen. You don't have two pilots. You have a pilot and a co-pilot. And so same in a romantic relationship, somebody has to be the leader, and that is the masculine one. And that's the man. The man needs to be the leader. And I've been thinking a lot about this as to why, first of all, why do men go against this and say, well, I don't like that. We're both equal partners and da-da-da-da. Well, here's what that to me says. If a guy says, well, we should be equal, what you're saying is that, you know what, me as a man, I don't want to take the responsibility of making decisions. I don't want to be the only one here with the responsibility of directing and guiding this relationship somewhere. And, when you look around at a lot of the men today, a lot of them are very weak. They've been taught to be subservient. They've been taught not to be bold, to be decisive. They've been taught that, if you're too confident, if you're too decisive, if you lead things, then, this is bad. This is what they call toxic. Okay. You're being too forceful. Okay. And a lot of the times when I say this, the men who disagree with me, they always interject, well, why do you have to be and just dominate over the woman? And nowhere do I ever say you need to dominate over the woman. I'm saying you're the leader and you need to lead the relationship. I don't say you need to dominate the woman or dominate the relationship. And so guys like this like to put that in there, like to say, oh, you're just telling people to dominate over women. And that's not what I'm saying, but they want to use this as a matter of hyperbole, so it makes it sound so bad, and that what I'm saying is really negative, but what they're doing by being Mr. Equal, by being Mr. Fair Share, that somehow they will make themselves look much more attractive to women. So, guys that do this, that say they want the equal stuff and, everything should be fair, square. Well, I'm telling you, these guys simply don't want the responsibility of being a leader. And you know why? Because being a leader in a relationship is actually very difficult. For a man, in order to lead a relationship towards a successful outcome, it involves a lot of hard choices. So you have to, first of all, keep yourself disciplined, and you also have to make sure that if she's doing something that's going to be destructive to the relationship, you have to be willing to put your foot down and say, hey, you know what? and that just doesn't work for me, and that's not going to work for this relationship. You can continue doing those things, but if you do, then I'm going to have to bow out of this relationship. And so you're going to have to say things like that cause friction. And most guys simply don't want to do that, which is understandable. I mean, nobody wants to cause friction in their relationships. It's uncomfortable. So most of the times, those type of men would rather say that they're easygoing or say that they're not threatened, because they don't want to put their foot down, because that's way more difficult than just going with the flow and saying, oh, whatever she wants to do is cool. I'm cool with it, man. You know, hey, that doesn't bother me, man. I'm so comfortable in my masculinity. Hey, that's fine. You know, she can do whatever she wants. That's a hell of a lot easier way to get through it than saying and putting boundaries up and saying, hey, you know what, like, if you speak to me in that way, or if you act like this in public, or if you do these types of things, like, that's just not going to fly with me. And so, you know, for us to stay together, you're going to have to do these things, and if not, then I think it's best we go our separate ways. So I want to illustrate also just one other part of being why men in the relationship need to be the leader is most women, if they're being honest, are going to say they want a man that they can look up to. A man that is wiser than they are, hopefully makes more money than they are, someone with more experience, someone that they can look at and look up to and trust. Because women like to feel, in their own feminine nature, they want to feel protected. And a man with more experience, more wisdom, gives off that impression that, okay, he can handle things when I can't. And that makes them feel safe and protected. So that is one of the reasons why, the man definitely needs to be the leader, because in order for her to feel safe, for her to trust you in your masculine core and be in her feminine energy, she's going to need to do that. You're going to need to lead the relationship and show her that, hey, regardless of what happens, I got you and I'll take care of this. And most of the guys today, or a lot of men today who want the equal stuff, they don't know how to do things. So they would rather say, oh, let's just be equal. So they can kind of skirt out of having some of the responsibilities that a man needs to take in a relationship. And one of the things too that I notice, women will say they want the women that say they want the equal partnership stuff, a lot of those women say this because they have never been with a man who is masculine. And quite frankly, they don't trust men. A lot of the women that say they want this stuff, they don't trust men because they either came from a family where the dad was very weak. He might have been a really nice, loving guy, but he was weak. He was indecisive. He was neurotic. He was nervous. He deferred to the mother all the time. And so in her eyes, a man, it's easier, instead of her saying, I'm going to be the dominant one, it's easier for her to say, oh, I want equal partnership, because then it makes it look like when she is flexing her masculine side, which she normally doesn't want to do, it makes it look less bad to other people, because then she can say, oh, we're just very equal, instead of saying, oh, he's a bitch and I have to be the man of the relationship. It sounds a lot nicer, because most women are not going to want to tell their friends, oh yeah, I wear the pants in the relationship, or I have to be the man. And unfortunately, a lot of women do have to be the man right now in their relationships because men are too afraid to be the leader. So I want to illustrate this point too, with why it's important for a man to take on masculine qualities and be the leader, be grounded in his emotions, be the sort of emotional rock, the mountain, because I coached a lesbian, and using this lesbian woman as an example is great to show you how important masculine traits are in one of the people. Now, this particular lesbian, she was the more masculine of the two of the women, okay? Her girlfriend was more feminine, and this woman was the more masculine one. She looked very butch, short hair, dressed like a guy, so took on these masculine tendencies, right? and her girlfriend was attracted to her for that. Now, the problem that she was having was that her girlfriend wanted to call it off. Her girlfriend said she needed a break, needed some time, and was getting wishy-washy. And so when she told me that this was her problem, I knew right away that it was because she was acting like a woman. Which I know it sounds funny because she is a woman, but in this lesbian relationship, or in any gay or lesbian relationship, this is amazing, is because you can see very clearly you have to have someone who's masculine and you have to have someone who is feminine. So because this woman that I was coaching was the masculine one but was acting very feminine, being a little bitch, her girlfriend was getting cold feet and wanted to have space. And I said to her, look, in this relationship, you are the man. You need to take on the masculine tendencies. And because what she was doing was chasing after her, being too lovey-dovey, like being too emotional, over-emotional. And I said, when you act like that, it actually turns her off because she's the girl. You know, you can be emotional, but you're getting way too caught up in your feelings. And this is the same advice I give men who move way too fast, who get caught up in their feelings, who get over emotional, get mopey. Instead of focusing on the purpose and mission in life, they get stuck in their feelings. And so this particular woman, this lesbian woman, that's what she was doing. And I said, you know, it sounds like you're not acting masculine enough for her. And when I put it in that perspective, it totally clicked for her. She was like, wow, you're right. Like, I'm acting like a girl. You know, and of course she is a girl, but because of the fact that she was in this relationship, she was the masculine one. When she started to act more feminine, the relationship started to go sideways. So I told her this and she was like, you're totally right. I'm not acting strong. I'm not being dependable for her. I'm being very emotional. I'm coming to her. I'm crying, doing all this stuff. And so now she has to deal with all my shit. And I said, yeah, that's exactly it. You can have, you know, you can express emotions and express yourself, but if you're acting more of a woman than she is, she's going to start to not trust your masculine core, which is what she's attracted to. And this is exactly the same for straight couples. When a man acts when he's over emotional, when he acts like a woman, the woman then now has to become very masculine, take care of the man, and it makes her very uncomfortable because most women would prefer to stay in their feminine energy. They don't want to have to be the man, okay? And, you know, you look at women who work high stress jobs, who they work these jobs, they have to be very masculine at work. They're doing the 9 to 5 and at work having to be very aggressive, go-getters. When they come home, the last thing they want to do is keep on being aggressive and they're masculine. They want a man to sort of allow them to just completely let go of things because they want to be able to go back to their feminine side, be emotional, be girly, be cuddly. And the man is the rock and he can hold her and protect her and she can have an oasis from that busy 9 to 5 stuff. So, you know, this is my thought on why, you know, when girls and guys say, oh, I don't want to be the leader, well, it's simply just wrong. It's just not working out. I mean, that being said, hey, if it's working for you, then great, and have at it, enjoy. You know, if it's really what you think is the way to go and it's working, then go for it, man. Maybe you have a special circumstance, but most of the times in the people that I coach and work with, that's not the case. It's either A, the guy's a bitch and doesn't want to man up and be masculine, right? He doesn't want to take on the responsibilities that are necessary to be a masculine leader in a relationship with a woman. And women who say this, they just have never experienced a man that they can actually trust and that can let go of. Something inside of them hangs on to that masculine side, so they never fully let go. So they have to say to the world, oh, we're going to be equal because it's shameful for them, honestly, to say that I have to be the masculine one in this relationship. It's shameful. And you see videos of girlfriends making fun of their boyfriends who behave in a very feminine way. You know, these are the same girls who say, oh, I want equality, I want this other stuff. But when the guy acts like that, they shame them publicly and they're disgusted by them. And usually they cheat on them with a more masculine man. So that's my take on this. If you still don't agree with me, that's fine. Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, if you'd like some personal coaching one-on-one with me, if this is an issue that you're dealing with, hit me up, and there's links below, and you can book a session with me one-on-one, and we'll help you figure it out. We'll see you in the next one.